The LA Gladiators' dreams of 2023 Overwatch League glory are officially over. With no hopes of play-ins, an uncertain future, and a parent company disillusioned with the league, the waves ahead may be too much for this ship to bear. So with the postseason looming and the future of the team and the league very much up in the air, what can we take from this Gladiators' tale, and how will their legacy be remembered? It's a strange profile of emotions attempting to recount the Gladiators' run, because when you look back, you see so much good. In spite of an ending that we and the Gladiators fans and players have become far too acquainted with, it's hard to argue that on paper this year, the Gladiators were a threat. Not often the biggest kids on the block, but ones that you'd want in your corner if push came to shove. Even their long line of former players, like spidery purple veins crawling across the history of the Overwatch League, demand respect. Big Goose and Shaz for their time were a bulletproof backline, and they felt like a standard set for the league. Shofor will always be a legend of the game, half because of his innate talent for Overwatch, but also half thanks to his clutch factor. The number of times he pulled the Gladiators out of a lion's pit and over the line on sheer will and skill alone became legendary. While Birdring owns a championship title with another team, you can trace a large portion of his time in the league back to the Gladiators. This was a vanguard of players any team would be blessed to boast as its alumni. Los Angeles then was never short on good talent, and maybe that's what earned them their perennial gatekeeper status. Hell, if a few dice rolls went differently, maybe Fissure stays, maybe it all works out, and just maybe they're the ones at the Barclays Centre. For years, the Gladiators would position themselves just off the podium, with 4th place finishes and near misses being the norm. They had moments in the sun, like when they led the league during Stage 4 of Overwatch League's inaugural season, only to then be brought back down to earth by their regional rivals in the semi-finals of the stage playoffs. The Gladiators were a good team, one you could not ignore, but also one that, when the time came for the chips to go down, would often not be featured at the top table, always lagging just behind in the race for a title. The potential was always there, but it wouldn't be until the tail end of 2021 that the wider Overwatch world would finally see it bear fruit. When you sit with reality for a second and consider the Gladiators' success story in 2021, it is absurd the impact that one man's actions had in seeing success sprout in Los Angeles. Without Shu's title-winning play to dispatch the Chengdu Hunters during the final moments of the 2021 Countdown Cup, history would be perceived very differently. If they don't finally achieve that level of success, at least once, does 2022 play out the same way? In Season 5, they perfected the metagame in the kickoff clash and coasted towards a dominant performance for that stage title, only dropping a single map to the Dallas Fuel. While their mid-season run wasn't as spotless, being able to best the San Francisco Shock in their rematch was nothing short of legendary. And even then, that does a disservice to the road the Gladiators had to walk to even get to that point. The addition of Junker Queen, Reyna's departure, and the playoff patch does confuse things, that's clear. But the Gladiators felt different by the end of the year. A team that was forever coasting on the cusp, always just shy of getting the respect they deserved, was making headway, and a breakthrough felt imminent. Surely the year that followed would bring success. Hopes for many fans and onlookers alike were high. And sure, some entered 2023 with more measured expectations for the Gladiators. Few, however, saw the magnitude of their downward spiral. They still housed great players, ones that not only had a taste for gold, but felt destined for it. 2022 showed us that. We saw Dante become a North Star for the Outlaws in their bronze medal finish, and he now called Los Angeles home. Fans and pundits were already familiar with how strong a pair Yaki and Kevster could be. Bumps in the road were to be expected. An average placing here or there, something akin to the same hurdles they'd overcome before. A hurdle all teams have to overcome on the ascent towards a title. But right after their closest brush with glory, small bumps became overwhelming mountains. As week after painful week, they tumbled down the rankings and their form followed suit. Their floor would be 11th, just narrowly managing to evade a lifeline that would have given them just enough air to survive until the play-ins. And so, a team that was set to man the gates to the Overwatch League's top table once again was now buried beneath it. If news pans out as it usually does in this esports winter we're currently supposedly living through, their parent company, Kronka Sports and Entertainment, will probably be exiting the esports space by the end of the year. While we're always hoping that the Overwatch League will survive, There's little doubt that the competition is likely to look very different next year, whether it continues or not. 6 years of hard work and hard-fought memories now locked within an increasingly dim liminal space. The LA Gladiators are likely to take a quiet exit from an arena they once helped forge. But half a decade's work deserves more than that. And as the final note resolves in LA's swan song, maybe it's less about what the LA Gladiators' actual legacy is. Maybe it's about what we and they choose it to be. Choosing to remember the warring chants of Valiant and Gladiators in the Blizzard Arena of Los Angeles. Choosing to remember the highs of 2022's mid-season and beyond. And choosing to remember a team that may not have been destined for greatness, but were willing to fight tooth and nail for it anyway. So if this is the end of their tenure in Overwatch's grandest arena, then thank you, Gladiators. We were very much entertained.